Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. My name's Jason and thanks for watching. In this video, I want to talk about this ICECO TR60 12 volt compressor fridge and freezer. The TR series is a brand new line from ICECO and they're pretty excited about it. This fridge comes in at a whopping 60 liters or 63 quarts of capacity. In this video, I want to cover this fridge's power consumption, all the features, and my opinion, if this fridge is worth spending your hard-earned money on it. Stay tuned for a more in-depth look at this ICECO TR60. Okay, so this is everything that you get in the box, including the fridge. You get a nice sticker that says it stores 88 cans. Comes with the handy user manual, good troubleshooting steps, other good information in here about installing the wheels, the handles, so forth. You get the 12 volt adapter. This is just for DC. And then if you're going to run it on AC, you get a wall adapter that's rated at 13.5 volts and 6 amps. And you just plug it into here so that when you're in your house or a hotel, you can just run it right off AC power. If you're going to run it off your car or a battery source, you use this. Width of the fridge with wheels, I'd plan for 28.5 inches. Height of the fridge, 21 inches. Depth of the fridge, 16.5 inches. Okay, so looking at the front of the ICECO TR60, there's not too much here I want to talk about. I will talk about the nice latch. This latch does do a good job locking. You have to click it up and then it opens nicely. This lid is reversible. You have the nice ICECO brand here. This seems to be an actual painting. It's not a sticker or anything. And just advertising here that there is a Secop compressor in here. You got the 88 cans of storage plus the rated voltages. And you have the ventilation. This side has the fan, so the air is sucked in this side and it is exhausted on the other side. Just as a reminder, if you're going to have this in an enclosed space, you want to make sure that you give adequate ventilation on spacing here. So I would definitely leave a couple inches if you're going to put this in a cabinet or something. And also maybe think about installing some sort of circulation fan so that the hot air has a way of getting out. You do not want to have this trapped in a confined space where the air can just rise in temperature over time. Okay, so looking at the side of the TR60, what's great about this fridge is because it's a larger fridge, it comes with these wheels. These wheels are removable, you don't have to keep them, but it's something that's really nice if you have one person that's moving this, just 2 screws on each wheel and it comes right off. And then also you have these really nice molded handles. They won't collapse under weight and they are adjustable so you can make the handles longer or shorter. Like once again, just 2 screws for each one and it pops right off if you don't want to use them. Great features for this fridge. I really like that about it. Okay, moving around to the other side of the fridge. At the top of the fridge you can see there's a specification sticker. It gives you the brand, the model, and kind of everything you'd like to know. The weight is 19.8 kilograms and 60 liter storage capacity. It also gives you a serial number here with a wiring diagram. Coming down a little bit farther, you can see the same handle as the other side, very durable, metal screws, and it screws into metal, into the frame, the nice handle. You can also see that there's like this lifting grip, and this is on both sides. You can lift by this. It's not super deep, so I would recommend using the handles. And then let me go ahead and zoom in on this bottom section. Okay, so looking at the bottom here, you can see there's a 15 amp fuse. This is where you plug in the fridge for power. It's rated 12 to 24 volts DC, so it does come with the AC to DC adapter if you're running it off a wall outlet. And then also here you have your battery protection system. So you can set it to 1, 2, or 3 for a low, medium, and a high setting. And it has the rated voltages of when it would turn off and on. So if you would like to set that to a certain level, you have that freedom just with an easy switch. I love how simple this is. It's a great design. Okay, so I removed the side panel just so you could see what was going on underneath. You can see you have the compressor here, the fan, and some other electronical controls over here. Everything seems to be well built. They have these really nice metal frames. The bottom is also metal, so looks really rugged. Looking in the actual compressor, you can see it's a Secop BD35F. This compressor is a high quality compressor, so it should give a really long lifetime for this fridge. Also, it should be very efficient in that process. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the power panel here. To turn it on, you have a long press on the power button. And that turns it on. Then that gives you the current temperature, which is 57 degrees inside the fridge. If I turn this down, it'll get a set point. So you can see it's set at 32 degrees there, and it'll start flashing. The temperature here is the active temperature, so this will go down over time. You have an eco and max mode, and you just push this to get it into eco or max mode. So just a simple press of that button will do that. So very simple on this power panel. You have a power button, eco, max mode, and temperature. I love how simple this fridge is. Okay, so we already showed you the display here. Let's go ahead and talk about the rest of the lid features. The lid is reversible, so you can slide it out and up and flip it around, so the handle could be on the other side if you wanted. The spring-loaded handle is very nice and durable. It's got an embedded ICECO logo here, and also 4 cup holders. Opening the lid is very easy, and looking around the perimeter, you can see there's a really nice foam gasket that sits along this plastic ridge here, so it'll give it a really nice seal. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. Okay, so taking a look inside the fridge, you can see that there are 2 main compartments. You have a smaller compartment here and a large compartment here. Some of the awesome things about this fridge are that the external of the fridge is plastic, which is in itself is a insulator plus insulation, and then on the inside you have this metal lined large area. And so as the heat exchanger is up against this metal area, it really helps with the efficiency because it transfers that cold right into the fridge much better than a plastic lined fridge. So you can see they put a lot of money into this large compartment as they lined it with metal. I believe that helps a lot with the efficiency of this fridge. So there's 2 ways to run this fridge. You can have it set as a fridge where this can be your refrigerator area and then this is 10 degrees warmer, or you can set this as freezer here and then this would be a 10 degrees warmer, which would be around refrigerator temperature. So there are 2 ways to run this. You do not have the ability to set temperature in both areas. You just set the temperature in here and then this is 10 degrees warmer over here. There's a really nice LED that turns on when the lid is opened. Right now the fridge is not powered on, so the light is not on, but that does illuminate very well. And I don't think there's any other issues that I see with this. This is a great design and a very large capacity fridge. The fridge does come with this included basket. So you just slide the basket in there. The nice thing about having a basket is if you want to move the fridge, it's very heavy with all this food in here. So what you do is you load the food up, you have everything in here. If you want to move the fridge, you just take the basket out with the included food, and that will lighten the fridge significantly so you can move the fridge much easier. If something's spilled, it's also another great benefit because you can just pull the basket out, wipe up the fridge, and then put it back in. All in all, I think this is a great design. They have some great features in here that many other fridges don't have. So I love the reversible lid, LED light, the metal lined storage area, and the basket. Okay, so I thought I'd do a little bit of a video of what it sounds like when the compressor is running. I'll put the mic about 3 feet away. So that's what it sounds like about 3 feet away. And I'll go ahead and bring the mic in really close. There is a 120 millimeter fan right here, and then the compressor is right on the other side, so it's kind of what you'll hear if you were sleeping right next to it. Okay, so having it on eco mode, you can see it's pulling 46 watts, and on 120 volts, it's pulling 0.62 amps. Let's go ahead and crank it up to max mode to see what it pulls. Okay, on max mode, it is pulling around 82 watts. It goes a little under over, so 82 watts on max mode. On amps, on 120 volts, is 1.09 amps. And you just have to remember that you will get about 10 to 15% more efficiency removing the AC to DC adapter out of the wall. You are losing efficiency converting it from AC to DC, so if you're just running off a battery, you will get more efficiency. Okay, so this is usually my favorite part of these review videos. I want to go ahead and show you how I tested the power consumption of this TR60 and talk a little bit about what's going on. So the first part of this test is about when it was around 70 degrees ambient. Here in my YouTube studio, it's in my basement, it's always around 70 degrees, and that's what I'm going to do this first test on. So what I did is I used this stock wall adapter, the stock cable, and I have that plugged into a kilowatt meter so it tracks the power usage and the time that it ran. So let me go ahead and show you the inside of the fridge just so you can see what I have in there. It's best to have contents in the fridge so the temperature does not sway as much during the testing. Kind of represents real world use. Okay, let's go ahead and open the fridge. So looking inside the fridge, you can see on the left I have a few cans to keep this area at the same temperature. And then on the right I have a lot more items just because the area is bigger. So I currently have this fridge set at 33 degrees on the dial itself, and so that gives us a rough estimate of where you actually want this to be inside the fridge. The reason I know what that is because I have this little thermometer, and you can see at the top of the pink area, that's where you want it to be for items that you want refrigerated, and it stays within the lower and upper bounds of that area if it's set at 33 degrees. If I had the fridge set higher, it would actually be above that, and so you wouldn't really have the right temperature that you need to keep your food safe. Now this is an issue on a lot of these fridges. It all depends on the programming and where the temperature sensor is for this model of fridge. So each fridge that you get, it may differ a little bit. Just make sure that you have a fridge thermometer so that you can track the temperature inside the fridge. If it needs to go lower, just set 1 degree down on this side here, and it should lower the temperature inside the fridge. And I just did that until I got what I wanted here. So it is currently set at 33 degrees. Let's go ahead and see what the results were for the testing. Okay, so these are the results for the 70 degree ambient test. I ran this fridge for 111 hours, and on the kilowatt meter it pulled 0.725 kilowatt hours. So translating that over to 725 watt hours, we divide that by 111 hours of the total run test, and that gives us 6.53 watts continuous average. So on any given second, it was pulling an average of 6.53 watts. Let's go ahead and translate that number to amp hours. So if you have 725 watt hours it pulled over the whole test, that translates to about 58 amp hours at 12.5 volts. Taking that 58 amp hours, we can divide that over the entirety of the test, which is 111 hours, and that gives us 0.52 amp hours per hour. So that's a great way to be able to estimate the total storage you need for this ICECO TR60 because it uses 0.52 amp hours of energy every hour. If you had 60 amp hours of usable energy, you could run this for 120 hours. If you had 30, you could run it for 60 hours. Once again, this is at 70 degrees ambient. It's not real world, but this is how we've tested all the other fridges. I want to do a real world test now, so let's go ahead and get the temperature up to about 85 degrees and see how the fridge runs. Okay, so I thought I'd show you guys the setup I have for the testing right now on this fridge. I'll be quick. Okay, so in here I have the TR60 on this table, and I have the kilowatt meter on the floor tracking its usage. The real important thing about this is, though, I have a heater in here set to 90 degrees. It's currently at 92 on the heater, but to track it more realistically, I have this guy saying it is 85.4. So I'm going to let this run for about 10 hours to give us a realistic power usage for the fridge at a higher temperature, something more realistic than 70 degrees. Let's see what the results will be. Okay, the 10 hours is up. Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, the fridge is actually running. Okay, so the fridge has run for 10 hours and 8 minutes and has pulled 0.13 kilowatt hours. It is currently 85.2 degrees in here. The fridge is set at 33 degrees and the compressor is running, so it'll be at the top end of that refrigerator line. Okay, so looking at the refrigerator thermometer, you can see it's at the top end. I may suggest even setting this at 32 degrees just to keep it from going above that line to be safe with your food. Let's go ahead and take all the numbers and estimate the average use per hour. Okay, so let's jump into the results for the elevated temperature testing at 85 degrees ambient. So I read the fridge for 10 hours, and during that time the fridge pulled 0.14 kilowatt hours. So translating it over to watt hours, that's 140 watt hours. Dividing that by 10 equals a continuous average wattage of 14 watts. So that 140 watt hours translates over to about 11.2 amp hours at 12.5 volts. So if we take that 11.2 amp hours and divide it by 10, that gives us 1.12 amp hours per hour at testing at 85 degrees ambient. So if you had 60 amp hours of usable storage in your batteries, this would last a little under 60 hours. So you can see 70 degrees ambient versus 85 degrees ambient, the fridge uses almost double the power. Still pretty efficient at 14 watts continuous. You got to remember the 70 degree test was 6.53 watts continuous. Okay, so the manual shows you how to put these brackets on and the wheels on. But when it comes to the carrying handles, they don't really talk about how to install those. So I just thought I'd show you. Okay, so you want to make sure it's flat, like this, and then you take your piece like this, and you just put it on. So you feed it through both sides like that. You come up and through, and then down. And you go down through it, and down through this side. And you know, that may seem simple, but you know, I tried a couple different ways. That seems to be the best way to do it. And then you want to make sure that it's hanging flat again, and then you basically do the same thing on the other side. Feed it through the bottom, feed it through the top. Come up through the bottom, and then down, and then through here, and through here. So you may want to adjust how long you want this. You can easily do that by pulling it looser or tighter. I feel like this is too long, so I'm going to probably bring it up here by loosening it. The other thing you may want to think about doing is with this leftover strap, like if you tighten it all the way up, it's going to be really long. So just cut this off and then take a lighter and just kind of singe it so it doesn't fray anymore. Okay guys, let's bring all this info back together. In conclusion, I feel that this fridge has some awesome points that make it stand out above any other budget fridge on the market. The Secop BD35F compressor. The fridge is super efficient. It has a large 60-liter capacity, has adjustable handles, removable wheels, reversible lid, and you can't forget the simple, easy-to-use control panel. The list could go on and on. After over 120 hours of testing this fridge at different temperature levels, I was very happy with the power consumption results. This was one of the best fridges I've ever tested. It even beat my VL45 in power consumption. I think this extra efficiency is from the external plastic casing and the internal metal walls of the fridge. The outside of my VL45 is all metal, so some of the outside temperatures are bleeding into the fridge of the VL45. The numbers for the TR60 were very impressive. Just to recap the power consumption again, having the fridge temperature set at 33 degrees, we had the following results using a kilowatt meter. At the 70 degree test, it pulled 6.53 watts continuous, or 0.52 amp hours per hour. For the 85 degree test, it pulled 14 watts continuous, or 1.12 amp hours per hour. So that gives you an idea of what type of storage you'll need. So if you need a 60 amp hour battery or 100 amp hour battery for how long you want to run the fridge. In my opinion, if someone was looking for a larger 12 volt compressor fridge, you can't go wrong with the ICECO TR60. You have a company that's willing to stand behind their product, and they offer an awesome guarantee. All the ICECO products have a 5-year warranty on the Secop compressor and a 1-year warranty on the entire fridge. Okay guys, well that's about all I was planning to cover for this review video. I wanted to make it short and concise, and I'm hoping I've answered all your questions about the ICECO TR60. It would really make an awesome addition to anybody's camping or RV setup. If you want to learn more about some great tips and tricks for running a fridge like this on a portable battery or even in your car and truck with solar panels, stick around for some bonus footage at the end of this video. I appreciate all you watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. Thanks for watching, and make it a great day. Okay, bonus section of the video. I just want to talk about a few tips and tricks about running one of these fridges, either in your car or off a battery pack. So let's talk about the car stuff first. So first you'll notice that the fridge does come with this 12-volt socket. This 12-volt socket sometimes is a little bit stiff on this tip here, and these don't have much pressure on them. So this tends to pop out if you're driving on a road that may have some bumps in it, off-roading, things like that. Also, they tend to pop out if they are bumped. So there's some modifications you can do to these by opening it up and trimming the spring off a little bit so it's a little less stiff. But that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is you can purchase a cable like this. This is the actual cable end, and I chopped that off. And then I went to Home Depot, bought some 12-2 landscape wire, and then put a Anderson power pole on the end of it. So this is a cable that allows me to plug into the fridge and then run it off either these battery boxes, or my car has an Anderson power pole panel that I installed in it. So this is a more reliable way that it won't just pop out on going down a bumpy road. So let's talk a little bit about battery boxes. So you can buy one right off Amazon, or you can build your own. This is a lead acid battery box. I have a video for this. This was my first solar generator video. It has a 35 amp hour battery in it. Has pretty good, decent run times. I wanted more storage and I wanted it to be lighter. This is around 30 pounds. So I built this one. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery. This has 80 amp hours in it, and it's actually a lot more usable. The 80 amp hours you can take a lot lower, so you never want to discharge more than 50% on lead acid. So this is like 17 amp hours really. This here you can bring down to about 20% left, so you can get almost 60 amp hours, 70 amp hours out of this, and you won't damage the cells, and so you get a lot better runtime on this. I have videos for both of these. This is a product that was given to me for a review. This is the All Powers 372 watt hour solar generator. This is a lithium based using 18650 cells. This is a great option as well. This has about 24 amp hours of usable storage. So 17, 60 something, and 24. So great options. This one has a built-in inverter. You also don't have to build it. It's an affordable price. So all of these run fridges very well. These all support solar inputs, so you can charge these batteries while you're running the fridge during the day, and then at night you will have a full charge, and it will allow you to drain the battery down through the night, and you won't have any issues about having a dead battery in the morning because it's charged so well overnight. If you are interested in any of these, they are in my channel. Just check out my videos. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about running these in a car. So most cars do have a 12-volt socket. The main thing you want to know right off the bat is your 12-volt socket powered all the time, or does it turn off when you turn your key off? A lot of vehicles, there are some modifications you can do to allow that to be on all the time. So just imagine you're going camping and you turn your key off and the fridge no longer works. You need to know if that's going to be an option or not. The easiest workaround for that issue is just running a fused set of wires right from your battery and to the back of your car, or wherever you're going to have this thing. 8-gauge wire would be recommended so you get less voltage drop. So run 8-gauge wire directly from your battery to the back and you will be set. It'll be powered all the time. Just make sure it's fused and you're good to go. I did that in my 4Runner and it worked great. When thinking about running the fridge off your starter battery, say your car or truck only has one battery to start your car, you want to be very aware of the voltages. You never want to take your starter battery under 12 volts. If you take it under 12 volts, you're probably not going to get your car started back up, especially if it's super low in the morning. So if I am running off my starter battery, for example, I'm going on an overnighter, my
My Forerunner has a 60 amp hour battery in it. That's plenty of storage to run my fridge overnight, especially because it's, going camping, it's cooler at night. So what I like to do is I start the car, I run it for about 15 minutes before going to bed so that it just tops that battery off as much as possible. And then in the morning, I go and check the voltage. In my own situations, I've never had the battery go down. So for example, I'll charge it up. It's about 12.8 volts. And then as I go in the morning, it'll be around 12.5, 12.6 volts. So just make sure to always watch your battery if you're just running it off your starter battery. And it's really good practice to make sure that you buy an extra setup like this, just a battery box dedicated for running your fridge. Plus, they're portable. You could have your fridge near your camper or in your tent, and you can have the battery box right there with the fridge. So it's portable. You don't have to run some long, crazy extension cord. You can just have the battery and the fridge right next to each other. You can even have panels coming out of the tent or off your trailer on the roof, just charging it away. So anyway, I thought these would be some helpful tips. Hopefully you guys find them interesting and useful. I have a lot of practice running these fridges. I've ran these fridges for about 3.5 years camping, and I absolutely love it. I love not having ice around, and I love being able to have these fridges at home just in case. If the power goes out, I can have these battery boxes in the fridge, keep all my food from going bad, especially if it's in the middle of summer. I can charge them up using my solar panels. So stay tuned. Please subscribe and like and share this video out. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.